Why, hello out there, crypto world. It's been a hot minute since I've done a stream. I do apologize if you're out there fiending for it. I know there's probably at least a couple people that were. I was in Colorado for the last week. I left last Wednesday. And it was my cousin's wedding, so we had a blast. I just got back super late last night, kind of catching up back in the command center, as I didn't really bring anything with me, just my phone. Can't really do much with that. And of course, it seems when I do leave, lots of fun action happens, not only in crypto markets, but also over in equities too. It was a pretty wild week last week, and we're going to talk about it a little bit, kind of catch up with that stuff here. Couple little news things I saw today, just trying to catch up. You got ZRX is on Coinbase now. Pretty interesting. Of course, I'm not even going to go into it that much, but whatever the hell happened with Tether going down to... let's go ahead and go to the live screen before I forget. Whatever happened with Tether going down to 85 cents, that was pretty wild. It's like one of the times I did look at my phone. It was like right when that was happening. I was like, what the shit? This is crazy. Bitfinex, I do recall, is like $1,000 over everything else, like spot price. That's pretty crazy. I don't really like that. It's not really a great sign, but I'm not really sure what it means either. It just doesn't come off as good, that's for sure. Remember, the last time we had huge discrepancies in prices was right before on exchanges, was right before Mt. Gox, so that wasn't very nice if y'all were around then. If not, I'm sure you've heard about it. Also, a cool headline I saw. I tell people this all the time about crypto. I'm sure y'all do too. $194 million was moved on the Bitcoin blockchain for a whopping 10 cents. I don't know how people don't think that there's value in crypto. It still blows my mind. I mean, it even has provided value for me. I'm not moving no millions of dollars, but you know, still sending $10 for 10 cents is still pretty awesome compared to traditional methods right now, especially for the speed too. And I know there's haters out there that think Bitcoin sucks and the fees are high and it's slow. And yeah, maybe that did happen when network gets congested. But man, this is new tech, guys. Come on. Give it a break a little bit, man. Alright, so let's just go ahead and jump into some charts and stuff, because there's been a lot of damn action. One thing that was interesting, though, is we're back here. We'll go to the chart here in a second. It's kind of funny. We just kind of fell right back into the range that we have been in. A couple critical price points, too, that were not reached on a closing basis, that is. Alright, so let's just go here to the market cap. You know, it was just sideways. Flash crash right here to about... that was the day before I left to Colorado. Right to that 200, though. We've been watching that 200 level, so nothing really changed there. Briefly dipped below it, only, you know, $2-3 million or $2 or $3 billion. Nothing. Stabilized the whole time, and then out of nowhere, that huge pump from the Tether stuff, or whatever the hell reason that was. I don't know. It was really crazy to watch that price action. Anyone listening, I'd love to hear some comments on that, what y'all kind of think the deal was with that. Anyway, so again, it's kind of like nothing ever happened. Here we are, just sitting and basing all around the low 200s. Since it's been doing this for so long, you know, we've been kind of targeting that 225 area. That still is going to be kind of a intermediary target, but since it's been happening since almost, what is that, all of August, September, and most of this month, this new range is probably better set at 200 to 250. So, because the 225 level hasn't been real great. Dominance is up a lot, though. We are at about 54%, so that's nice. Let's go see about some of the movers here. And as we like to do, we have to filter some of this garbage out. Let's go to maybe $250 million. That sounds good. So last 24 hours, of course, 0x is top. That's ZRX. That's mostly due to Coinbase listing that, I'm sure. Most of that is today, too, from its 7-day movements. Tezos, Lisk, Ripple, or another couple decent movers in the last day. But overall, kind of boring. Here's the last week. Eternity and Tezos are leading, but other than that, everything is red. Some of the bigger boys on the downside, IOTA, Bitcoin, VeChain, and Doge. Doge finally broke below. Let's go ahead and look at Doge real quick, and then we'll get into BTC. So Doge finally did kind of break down from this 80s area that we've been watching, and it had steadily been getting rejected on the daily 21 exponential, so that was a pretty good sign that we were probably going to come down and test the 55, which we have. And now it looks like we're about to close below the 55 as well, which is not a great sign. And we do have a daily closing here in about 45 minutes, so I might still be on stream by the time that happens. All right, let's go to back to the main charts here. Yeah, so not a real great week or so in crypto. I know everybody was getting probably real excited on that super pump until you find out what, you know, was kind of possibly driving it. I don't really think anyone knows what the hell was going on there. Bitfinex has been kind of weird. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. It was already the spot price on it was slowly increasing over every exchange, and it has been for the last several weeks. I think the last time we talked about it, it was about what was it, 80-90 bucks over. Of course, that's ballooned to a massive. I mean, look at this, guys. It went right to the bottom of our red box that we've had on here for a long time, and then just immediately got sold off. You can see that on the hourly. 2-hour super pump and super dump. Something probably shady went on right there, and like I said, I don't know. Feel free to throw some comments in the chat box. Couple critical things, like we were talking about, and we have been watching. We did break down from this medium trend, symmetrical triangle, but it got caught by the longer term trend one here, almost to the T. Then we came right back up immediately and blew through the upside. If you watched the video from a few days, or I guess last week, I ran through what these pink lines are. These are 618 retracements from each of the peak to troughs. They've been holding up as resistance very formidably, as you can see here. Every single time that it tries to get close to it, it gets rejected. So on this one, what's interesting to me is even on a 4-hour, you can see the daily, clearly the daily didn't do it, but it blew through it, all these moving averages, and then came back to close, shocker, I know, to come back and close into our green box of boringness down here. The only good thing on the daily is that we did close right above this trend line that has been pretty serious resistance multiple times, probably about 6-7 times, depending exactly how you count. But the last time that did happen, we did sell back off. That would be back right around here, right there. So, let me go to big screen. There we go. So yeah, the last time that happened was right over here. That is the only kind of bullish thing here, and we did bounce off that trend line again. I'm not super excited by this move yet. As y'all know, we talked about whatever big move happened out of this triangle, which we haven't seen yet. I felt like it was going to be a trap. Now, that very well could have been it, but the problem is that would be like considered maybe a bull trap. The problem is for bulls, we are still below the 618, and we're still inside this green box. The only thing that they have right now is going to be above the trend line, although just barely. And you do have some crazy momentum on the daily DMI here, so that is pretty interesting. The last time we saw that high of a print was, let's see, back over here when this giant rally in the latter part of the year popped off. So kind of interesting. You had one that was kind of similar though right here, and that ended up just being bullcrap. Let's go look at a different exchange, because this is really important to notice. If you look at these exchanges, this is Coinbase. And I traditionally did use Bitfinex because of the volume. After that little debacle there, I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm not going to just switch because that just happened. But it is on my radar now. I might at least incorporate looking at Coinbase, or probably Bitstamp is the one I'll pick. Because the price action is just so damn different. Like if you look at all of these, right? So here's like kind of that 618 retracement here. Here's that 618 retracement level here. And you notice on all the other exchanges, this is Coinbase here, it didn't even come close to that. Didn't even come close to passing the daily 144 and the daily 377 exponentials. It actually didn't even close above the 21 exponential yesterday. Now today looks like it might here in about 45 minutes, but we will have to wait and see. So that, I don't know, that's just really throwing me off, and I'm sure a lot of people off. If we go over to, oops, not Bitfinex, we just did that. Let's go to Bitstamp. Bitstamp is showing kind of the same thing here. Let's see here. This pink line, this really bright one, let me dim that up a little. That is a really long-term trend channel. I might show it to y'all here in a second, but I want to get this thought out. Also, here you go. Same thing on Bitstamp. Is not closing above the 21. I mean, it's like right on it. Same exact pattern. And if you take this 618 measurement here, like we have on the other one, that puts you at about that 6,900 level. Didn't even come close to it. Not like it did on Bitfinex. It just blew through it. See that? Smashed through it, but then came right back down. This is a massive, massive wick. That's definitely the biggest wick I have seen on BTC probably all this year. Let's look real quick. Yeah, it is. To the upside, it is. I guess that's what wick means. Duh. You do have some tails over here that are comparable, this one and possibly this one here. As we do know, though, and we've discussed, that sometimes when these wicks happen, price does like to go back and visit up there. So that's something to look at. But given that it's only on one exchange, I'm not getting really excited about this. Especially even on the one that we've been watching, we're back in this damn neutral box, so it's not even super exciting at all. Let's see on just Tether. Yeah, see, so you have a Tether pump right here. So that likely these moves were directly related to Tether just selling off and losing its value. Which then you have to ask yourself what was happening behind the scenes. Tether has maintained a very close one-to-one parity with the dollar for quite some time. And where is Tether? Here we go. For quite some time, that is not what I wanted. I never really look at Tether by itself here. Let me see. There we go. There's Kraken. Here we go. I wanted to pull it up. So we've had a couple times, you know, get down here by the 90s and some shakeups. But this one definitely was the largest dump, all the way to about 85 cents. Let's see. Let's kind of just compare this real quick to some BTC price action. Let's see here. We'll just throw up Coinbase. We'll throw up a different one. No, I didn't want to do it like that. Sorry, give me 1 second. I did not want to overlay the main chart. Sometimes it's harder to read that way. There we go. And then we're going to move this guy up. If you go over here, you can see a little shadow box on the top. You can move these indicators up. And I'm going to make it a little bit larger too. Alright, there we go. So you can see here on the little Tether dump, proceeded to have a nice run in Bitcoin of about 50%. This last one, I'm going to count the dumps anything below like 95 cents roughly. So you have another one here which also proceeded to a run up, and this little cluster here proceeded to have a sell off, and this looks like it's right at 95. So if we count that one too, also had a pump right after that. So the latter ones here in February in this cluster were the only ones that had sell-offs. So I don't know if that really means that much. It's hard to tell. I just kind of wanted to put that out there and look at it myself just as a little reference point. But yeah, guys, this is some pretty insane movements in Tether, something that is supposed to be arbed. As you can see, it did very well right here. I mean, it was within a penny for pretty much, you know, the majority of this year. And yeah, got a just little super shakeout dump. Like I said, just got back today, kind of jumping back in there. I haven't read a lot of stuff on it. And again, I guess I don't really care that much. Again, the price, what is it? What I say all the time, show me the charts and we'll tell you the news. So that's not good news really for Tether. Especially, there's actually a lot of competition with stable coins out there the last few months too. So that could have something to do with it as well. And then I think there was some banking deposit crap that Bitfinex had. They always have some issues with that shit. Interestingly enough, though, let's throw some horizontals on the DMI. Interestingly enough, the DMI on the daily, on the 3-day, on the daily, it was actually showing weakness all the way back in here for a weird reason. Look at that. If you see up here where in the power zone the bears are, mid-September. So again, guys, DMI, my favorite indicator. Also RSI, to be fair, was showing weakness here, getting below and staying below 50 later September. But yeah, about mid-September, 12th to the 14th, around here, you had DMI saying, man, there's something weird going on. Yeah, it's hard to say that it's gonna, you know, predict this, which, you know, that's not gonna happen. But it did give us a little bit of a warning, because if you go back and price action that's this stable, this oscillator should be fairly neutral, and most of them should be fairly neutral. And as you can see, it exponentially started running up on just this dump and then didn't really give up until this second one did. So that's interesting. Not sure. Tether's having a little shake-up, little issues. No problems. I'm sure it will get resolved. Here we go. Right now, I almost want to think like long here would be probably the better risk to reward situation. Because I kind of, when I go out of town, I kind of like trim up my positions. I don't want to have to watch it or worry about it and hanging out with family and stuff. But now that I'm back sitting here, to me, this probably is decent long, and unless we break that 6600 again. Y'all know 66, 666 kind of in that whole 6600 area was strong. Oh, sorry. Was strong resistance, and now that should provide some strong support for us. Ultimately staying also above this trend line. It goes all the way back to the highs. Let's see if it fails one more again. It definitely could, but you know, we did have a nice volume spike here, so this could be the start of something bigger to come. Now, what I want to see though, let's ratchet down on the hourly just real quick here. Just wanted to see something. Okay, yeah, so yeah, DMI give you little warnings here, because like I said, I hadn't done a lot of analysis pretty much since the beginning of last week. You know, I had a lot of stuff to take care of before you go out of town, all that good stuff. So nice little dump there, and then they got a little bit strong right here, then a little fake out, then ultimately just blew up right to the trend line, and then had one more big pump. So yeah, guys, 66 is going to be the new kind of support, and ultimately, if you want to be a little bit looser, maybe this trend line cross at about 63.50 is probably a good support line. Again, the apex of this triangle is pretty much just the end of this month. So now what we're going to have to do to see if there is confirmation in these other exchanges is go look at them and go look at Bitstamp. I will not get bullish though. On Bitfinex it looks bullish, but I won't get super bullish unless we can cross above these exponentials in this price action on Bitstamp or Bitcoin or on Coinbase. They have really similar charts, as y'all can see as I'm pulling them up through here and fanning through them. Even if we go to the yen, look at that, it has the same. So everybody else is the same except for Bitfinex. And that's the one thing that, like, technically speaking, on Bitfinex's chart, being long might not be the worst thing with the tight stop at around, you know, between 63 and 66, depending on your tolerance. But every other chart and pair, let's even look at Euro, is not following through with this. So that's something that, yeah, same. See, look at it, everybody else has the same chart. So that's something that is very interesting. And until all the other exchanges start playing with this, I'm not going to get excited about this at all. Technically speaking, like I said a minute ago, it does make sense to have a long here on Bitfinex's chart. But when you look at the other ones, it's not so sexy. Let me put on some horizontals because I don't even have any on these. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. So bulls are trying to get control right now on the daily, on the euro. They have it on the 4-hour, and they're trying to maintain it on the hour. These are generally okay patterns. It is banging up the hourly 21 exponential in the euro. Let's see if it's still doing the same thing on Coinbase. Go over there. Yep, same thing. Ratcheting right up there. We are getting slight roundedness here, and you can really see that in the blue dots in the background. So you can kind of see a little rounding formation. The bulls cannot get weak. They need to step up real fast, because this gave a lot of fuel for people to sell into that, rebalance stuff, especially if you were in some Tether or Tether based, you know, coinage. You know, this is definitely oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I'm having a little brain fart here. It happens. No worries. This is definitely some awkward price action, to say the least. But now on the hourly, we are above all the exponentials, and we're coming up right on it. You can see this yellow coming right into the red. It's going down. I mean, it's not like going down in price, but price action. As we said, October surprises. We've been talking about this since October 1st, way before anyone ever mentioned October surprise. And not even based on the same thing. It was different things. I just looked at price action and movement on Bitcoin in previous Octobers, and I did a really thorough video on that early last week or late the week before that. Go check it out. They're all timestamped, so you can find it real fast. I go into very big details about all the price action in October. And on average, there was, I think, a 40% move in Bitcoin in October on a range basis from peak to trough. Usually it's a little bit higher, but that was the average. There was a couple 120, 140 ones as well. So, but on Bitfinex, guys, this is, you know, if you're just reading the chart, this is a really good long entry with a stop, you know, right here at about 66, 66.50. It's just really hard to take that trade because none of the other exchanges are showing that. So let's go to Ethereum on the Bitfinex. So even Ethereum had a nice little pump too from that. Let's go see if that happened on Kraken. Okay, Kraken did it too. All right, so that's better. So Ethereum was kind of playing ball across the board. A little extra pump in Ethereum Tether based. That's on Binance here. Not too big of a surprise. Let's go to Bitstamp. Yeah, so had a little bit better of a reaction, but nothing to get real excited about on Ethereum. Let's go back to where we have been looking at and do some internals. 4 hours bullish though on Ethereum. Well, the daily is about to get bullish. The hourly is bullish. The 850 is bullish. Man, all right, so that's interesting. We haven't seen many time frames be bullish in a while. Shit, I can't even remember the last time that happened. But as you can see, as we talked about this being possible hammer, reversal hammer with the volume, all the profile, the structure was perfect, and now we've come back to test this level twice. If we measure this retracement here, the 618 is about right there where my crosshair is, and you can see it went right below it, came back, and it's finding support at that level, and we have this big ass volume bar, which should bring in some more buying to probably come up and test at least the middle part of this channel again, maybe the top of this this wick. But let's go to 3-day on the longer term. Yeah, bears still have it on the 3-day and the weekly. So, you know, what are we, mid-October, backed, and a lot of news comes out next month. Guys, it's really funny, man. Like, we've been talking about being stuck in this damn green box forever, and then we finally pretend to get out of it, and then we close right back in it. And the daily closes here in what, another 25 minutes. Yeah, so I mean, it's just so damn confusing. I haven't read a lot of sentiment yet in the Twitter sphere. I need to catch up on some, you know, YouTube kind of stuff and fan through that and see if everyone's super bullish, or my guess is everybody's probably super confused about what the shit just happened. Let's go to Litecoin and see if it's giving us any info. Alright, Bitfinex. Nothing too exciting. Getting rejected here at this middle part of the trend line. Not a great sign. So Ethereum is showing some relative strength on the internals at this point, because it's even bullish on the daily and the 3-day. Litecoin is not. I'm sorry, on the daily, Ethereum is not bullish on the 3-day. So we got 4-hour is bullish, hourly is neutral, 850 is slightly bullish, and the 458 is bullish too. So it's more split than Ethereum is. Ethereum is pretty gung-ho bullish on the daily and below time frames, which we haven't seen in quite a while. Let's see, nothing else really to say about Litecoin. I'm going to be real cautious here with initiating new trades. I'm kind of just going to manage stuff that I have now and wait a little bit more, probably another couple days into this weekend to really see what's going on. I might take a small long on Bitcoin with some leverage with that tight stop, just because on Bitfinex it is showing that. And I know a lot of people are probably thinking my same initial reaction is like, oh, if we don't get confirmation on all the other ones, and Bitfinex is a joke, it's, you know, scam, blah blah blah. So people are kind of going to be fearful of them, which is when big moves like to even happen more after that. Like, it's like, oh, a little shocker, and then like a follow through. So we'll see if we get something like that. Let's see what happened to the Bitcoin shorts actually when that went down. Ooh, ouch. Went from about 37.5 to 28. So almost 10,000 Bitcoin shorts at one point. But look at that, it came right back. I don't know if trend lines matter. I just drew this on here for reference. I've mentioned that several times. But interesting that it came back up on the shorts and even closed above exponentials. Again, I don't know how, or the meaning of how important or the meaning of, you know, internals and technical analysis is on something like this, but it does seem to kind of still work out a little bit. But yeah, right now, trend line shorts didn't get all the way squeezed out, not like one of these back here, right? What we saw in April when we had that nice big rally, or even this continued downside action. So yeah, kind of a big nothing burger is really what happened. Go figure. Let's go to XRP, the rips. Oh, I keep doing that. Dang it. Dang it. All right, there we go. Bitfinex. Everybody's favorite exchange, right? Especially now. Let's see. All right, kind of bouncing off the, depending how you draw it, if you take to the wicks and tails, it tapped the 786 and is now hovering around the 618. A lot of times when you get these big ones, though, I like to split them or even just take the bodies, but usually I like to just split them. So we're kind of hanging around there. Caught a little bit of support. Again, the 3.8 is going to be hardcore resistance on Ripple, so can't really get bullish on Ripple unless we get above 51 cents. Let me go ahead and adjust this because that didn't get triggered, obviously. All right, we got a new one there. No, we don't. I guess it didn't want to. Let's try that again. All right, there we go. So just above 51, which coincides about where this wick is at the top of it. Yeah, I'm not going to get bullish on Ripple until we get above that. But on the internals, you do have 3-day bullishness, you have daily bullishness, you have weekly bullishness, you have 4-hour bullishness, you have 1 hour, 850. Damn, wow. Okay, so that is pretty damn interesting. Ripple is bullish on every time frame. Don't have enough data for the monthly, which is not surprising. Only pretty much Bitcoin you can do that. And Dogecoin, how funny. Counterparty, there's a few others. Next, whatever. I digress. But yeah, guys, look at this here. I bet this is about 618 retracement. Yep. But it's up there. It's higher, though. It's about 66 cents right over here. That's probably where I had that alert on before to see if we could punch through that. We did not. now we are going to have hardcore resistance at the 51. Look at that, even the 3-day 144 exponentials right there, along with the 55. Yeah, so low 50s is going to be hardcore resistance on Ripple. But if it can break that, it's pretty likely to, let's do a little fib extension real quick. It's pretty likely to hit between 65 and 72 cents. So again, I am going to wait and be very patient here. I want the market to digest kind of what happened yesterday a little bit more. But wow, yeah, Ripple, super beast mode. I haven't seen bullish on all time frames all the way up to the weekly in a very long time. Let's go to EOS. Mr. Dan the man. Let's see here. So this little trade setup that we did have was fairly decent. We put it on back here late September. Had a couple times to take, you know, over 70% of this trade. Had one more, but you know, you would have got caught with your pants down had this happen. And to reiterate, this is why I say when you get up to 50% or so, let's say between 30 and 70%, depending on, you know, your trade types and personality types and all that, I like to take some of that money off of the table. So if I put in $100 in a trade and it goes up to about half of my target, I'll take about 20 to 30% off of it and let the rest ride, just to capture some of the gains. Remember, it's all about managing your winners, okay? That's very important. Winners turn into losers real fast, and then it's real hard to close them because you're extra pissed at yourself. It happens, all right? I've done it way too many goddamn times. So on this one, you could be pissed, right? Let's just say it happened. Let's say you took some off here and some off here, and you have half the trade on still. Well, at least half the trade you made money, about 6%. And let's see where this would have put you down. About that. So you only would have lost, what's this move here? Let me measure that. You only would have lost about, yeah, 6% on half of it. So even if it was a scratch, that's better than a full loser because you want to get greedy, right? Scaling in and out just kind of helps remove a little bit of that greed. Also, if you ever, this is a good trick a friend of mine taught me, and it might cost you a little slippage in commissions. And slippage is just the difference between what you have to buy and what you can sell it for, the bid-ask spread. And he said, you know, when you're in a position you feel kind of antsy or something like that, or just weird, or just not comfortable, like you should feel comfortable when you have a trade on. It shouldn't be keeping you up. If it is, that's your body and subconscious and emotion telling you that something isn't right. But if you do feel that way, a buddy taught me, and not from crypto, he traded equities, mostly biotechs. He said that if you feel that way, just like, especially in the upward move and you're making money in a trade, sell the position, close all of it, and then buy it, but try to buy it back and see if you can. And so I don't know if that makes sense. Let's say you're, put some context right here, you bought, let's say you bought this dip right here. I'm going to go ahead and erase this because it's not relevant anymore. Let's say you bought this dip right here, and it goes up to right here on the 21 after this close, and you're in it right now. It's a great trade, right? But you don't really know what to do, and you're feeling kind of antsy. Close the whole thing out, and then wait 5-10 minutes, and then try to see if you can buy back in at this price, because your emotions and everything are going to be different than buying over here. And 9 times out of 10, when you do that, you won't be able to buy back in. It's pretty funny how it works. It's a good little trick on your brain and your greed and emotion. I suggest everyone try it. It's pretty cool. I've used it several times. And at most, you know, these commissions are low. You can probably do it on small positions for like less than 1%. Of course, if you're trading illiquid coins, it's going to cost you a little bit more. But, you know, if you have a pretty good gain, let's see if you had this trade on, you know, I mean, you're already up about 10%. What's giving up 0.5% maybe just to see if, you know, to test the trade, to see if you should be in it and test yourself. Just a little food for thought. Maybe try it out. Maybe not. Hey, do what you will. This is just education and my thought process. This is not trading advice, blah blah blah, etc. All that stupid crap. All right. Let's see. On EOS, bullish on the 4-hour internals. On the 850, just barely. On the hourly, just barely. Not on the daily. So it's about mixed. It's half and half on EOS. If we zoom out a little bit, we are still outside of this channel. We've been talking about it, that this is kind of a good setup for a long, but the bears are kind of slapping this party. That's for sure. If you kind of draw a little basic trend line right there, it keeps getting rejected off of that. And so that's not a great sign. Again, something is just really off about this tether move and all this other crap. I don't know. I would love to hear some people chime in about that, if you wouldn't mind. Let's see here. Let's go to... We already did Doge coin. Oh, let's go to XLM. We haven't looked at XLM in a while. XLM got murdered. This trade got monkey hammered. Not surprising when you have some kind of crazy outlier move like that. As you can see, though, it got reset and is right back to where it was. It's almost like nothing happened. That's why I was saying nothing burger earlier. It was just like a big old nothing burger. It's like a lot of crazy hype. Went down to 85 cents. Bitcoin goes to 77, like flashes up there in an hour or two. And then now we're back in the ranges. Most of the exchanges didn't even get out of their ranges. But don't forget, I think this is a good reminder of the explosiveness of Bitcoin. You know, the volatility has been compressed for so long. You know, everybody thought it could move $1,000 or $1,500 in a couple hours. Do not forget that. They can do that very fast, and especially to the upside. It has explosive upside potential, which is why sometimes I do compare Bitcoin and cryptos to volatility products like the VIX index, if you're familiar with that. It has explosive upside. Very dangerous to short, because on a short you really only can make, you know, 100%. It only can go to 0. Of course, I'm leaving leverage out of that. But anyway, this is a busted trade, so we are erasing that. Get it out of there. Nothing really too exciting about XLM that I can see. Bullish on the hourly. It is bullish on the 4-hour. Trying to get it on the daily and the 850. So nothing too sexy about this chart yet. I can't get excited about this one until it breaks above this wick again. And I think that's going to be kind of across the board with a lot of these little weird pumps that we saw yesterday. All right, let's go to ZRX just because it got onto everyone's favorite exchange, Coinbase. Joke. So it's pumping pretty damn hard. Let's zoom in a little bit. You had that news pop up around 2 o'clock. It's been pumping. It looks like it might try to do one more little leg up. Let me put on the horizontals here. Bear with me. Yeah, so it's very bullish on the hourly. It actually was bullish on this little pump from the hourly, so that was pretty nice. Let's see on the 4-hour. We're very bullish on the 4-hour. We kind of been bullish on the 4-hour since all the way back here at the beginning of October. See, so the charts, they show you stuff, man. You're getting these movements. You know, people know if ZRX is going to get listed. I mean, information leaks. It's just part of the game. Let's see here. Look, lots of volume playing on ZRX. Let's do a little fib retracement here. Yeah, so right there we've got the 618. It's coming up, which is about 95 cents. Don't expect ZRX to get much higher than the mid 90s in my opinion. These Coinbase pumps usually do not last very long, so do be careful about that. If you were in this, it might not be the worst idea to take some risk off of the table. I did jump in here for a quick, so I did take a little bit of a position, a long position that is. I don't know if you can short ZRX. I think you can. I think it is on on Bitfinex to do that. Probably Kraken too. Let's see here. I'm just checking something real fast on the side. Yep, so that's alright. Most of this pump, though, is probably just going to be distribution. What's left of it, if I had to guess. Alright, let's go to XMR, check out some privacy coins, see what they did during all that lovely action yesterday. Oh my gatos. Monero never really did anything for us. You can see it did break out of this box on this 1 hour candle here. If we do it to a 4 hour, because sometimes 1 hour is too much, it did just dump out of there. So that one would have took a little bit of a hit. Again, you never know when these outliers are going to happen. That's why they're called outliers, and they exist on the edge of the bell curve. But you can see is like if you didn't panic or anything and just came back later, it was flat. Now I'm not suggesting to do that. I'm just saying that's actually just kind of what happened with me, because I was just gone. I literally put the trading down, stepped away, hung out with some fam, had a great time. It was a great little recharge for me, so I am super stoked to be back at the command center, though. So that one was a busted trade. And you actually had a little bit of a signal before that, after it broke this trend line that has been intact since August, mid-August. So it's kind of showing a little bit of weakness there. So that's interesting. A lot of these altcoins don't look super great, except for Ethereum and what was the other one? EOS look real awesome. I'm about to go to equities here in a second. If any of y'all have tickers or some charts you want me to pull up and check out and put my 2 cents on, please feel free to do so in the chat box on the YouTubes. So, you know, we talked about the spring in the last video, getting some kind of like fake out move. And I'm wondering if we're seeing that play out now. It's hard, it's obviously hard to know, and no one knows shit, but it is interesting. It kind of feels that way. It's a little panicky. Altcoins just got a little slapped. You know, when Bitcoin goes up that fast and that abrupt, of course, that's just naturally going to happen. Again, though, on every other exchange except for Bitfinex, we are having resistance at the 55 and 21 exponentials on the daily, and that seems to be across the board on altcoins, which isn't the best sign. A lot of them are kind of finding support, though, around their 618 retracements from these candles. So that's okay. But this is a real dangerous time to take some trades, in my opinion. I'm going to wait until maybe not back here. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. But given this was very panicky, I went sideways the whole time. You know, that was, let's see on the hourly if you got any kind of heads up for that. No, it kind of shook you out there. And then, yeah, I guess on this candle it did. Gave the bulls like some real good strength for a nice little $20, or I'm sorry, that's not even 20 bucks. Let's call it, you know, 15 bucks or so. But yeah, it's looking okay right here. We are getting some push up. If we do, let me measure this way. Opposite, there we go. Below 120 though on Monero, which is about coincides with these bodies here and pretty much this top of the trend line. I can't really get that excited about it. All right, let's go to Dash, and then we're jumping to equities because they have been moving like a mofo. Dash. I guess we can go to Bittrex. Why not? Oh yeah, of course, I'm not surprised. A lot of these trades are going to be busted, but that's okay. It happens. You win some, you lose some. This one had a chance to take off at about half back. You could have made some profits, but ultimately, you would have taken a small loss on this. But the good news is it wouldn't have been a brutal one like the other ones because it actually just barely closed outside of your risk parameter there, which is about 5-6% loss. Now, again, like I've talked about before, there's different trading management strategies on this. You could either wait till price just hits this directly and close it, or you can wait until it closes. below it for an official close. Neither way is right or wrong. That's just totally up to you and how you trade and your personality. And you just have to keep trading to figure that out. No one can tell you which way is better. You have to just do whichever you are more comfortable with, okay? Man, I said comfortable, kind of weird right there. All right, so daily on Dash is neutral. 4 hour is bullish. 3 day is very neutral. Uh-oh, my computer's breaking. What's going on? Bear with me here. I'm not sure what's happening. I can see everything seems to be working outside of TradingView. I don't know what's going on here. Bear with me with this technical difficulty. That's never happened before. Maybe my mouse is just freaking out. If y'all can hear me, type just anything in the chat real quick, just to make sure I'm not, like, disconnected. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay. That's weird. Not sure what happened there. Sorry about that. Dash. Kind of looking like EOS right here, where it's barely breaking out of that long-term trend line. It is finding support on it, but it is kind of weak. It's, like, ratcheting down with it. So, Dash, real bearish below 130. And if we can just close above this damn 21 daily, then I'll start getting a little bit excited for maybe a run up to like 200, 220. But until then, it's in the gutter. Nothing too exciting. All right, let's jump over to equities. Let's go start with the ES, as we usually like to do. Let's go to the daily. As we talked about on this for a bunch of time, I don't know what the hell is going on here, but I must have some kind of issue with my driver on the mouse or something. What the hell? What the shit? This sucks. Stupid technical difficulties. Damn you, computers! You need to work better. Yeah, well, I can talk about this chart a little bit. Well, I guess I'm trying to fix whatever the hell's going on. Let's see here. There it goes. I don't know what the hell. Maybe my battery's dying. The light's still on, though, so that's weird. Anyway, we talked about selling and getting long deltas. Selling put spreads or an option strategy, which gets you long exposure. Whenever it came down to touch this 21 exponential. Worked out real good. And we said if once it closes below the 21 exponential for more than a couple of days, then you need to be a little bit more cautious. It did it for about 4 days, and then we had this massive candle here, this big old insano dump last Wednesday. Gosh, that was a great trading day. I was so pissed. I had to run so many errands. I was so mad. But that's okay. Shit happens. Opportunity is infinite. Your capital is finite. Don't forget that. It's real important. 4 hour, we are coming up on the 55 exponential, so that'll be some pretty hard resistance here at about 28.22. And ultimately, I think the hardest resistance is going to be our all-time previous high over here around 28.70-ish. Interestingly enough, that kind of coincides with the bottom part of this channel over the next few days. And there my mouse goes again. What the hell, man? All right, I think the battery is crapping out. Give me like 2 seconds here, and I am going to swap those. I feel like I just did this, but apparently that might not be the case. Good thing I've got batteries on deck over here. Not a problem. I guess the LED red light or whatever kind of light's in there probably doesn't take much energy. Oh, sorry, that was kind of loud probably. Alright, here we go. Let's see if that helps. Swap. Batteries are swapped. Alright. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Not a big deal. Alright, thanks for being patient with that. We are coming, if you see on the daily, my blue dots here. No, that is not parabolic SAR. I know it does kind of look like that. That is a triple exponential moving average. and that is set at 33. That's just kind of a number I like to use for general support and resistance. Not really trends, but it starts printing and clustering resistance and support levels fairly well. And if you kind of look back over here, what I'm saying, like you get this little run up and then it kind of goes below it and then the dots start printing above here. So this is going to be hard resistance here, right? But before that, it wasn't printing above it. So you knew that was a very strong uptrend, and the bulls were very strong right there. Just as you can see here, you get below the blue dots and below the 21 exponential. You got below the blue dots here, but not below the 21, and it was okay. But when you get both together, again, indicators are best when they coincide with each other. Using just one almost never works. I say almost never because you never want to say never, right? And plus, it depends on how you trade too. Everybody's a little bit different. Let's measure this one daily, because this one day 618 measurement is going to be very important. Look at that, guys. How funny. Stacking right where the triple exponentials are, right where price action stalled today. All right, that is pretty funny. I wouldn't be surprised to see a nice little pump coming up into this trend line and right above the 618 to kind of get everybody extra long and bullish. Again, you know, this could just be a little hiccup, but don't forget, this was a pretty gnarly sell-off. It's about 8%, and that happened in a week. So right now, traditional markets are more volatile than Bitcoin. Because 10% or 8% in this is huge. I know 8% if you trade only crypto, you're like, 8%, dude, it's nothing, bro. Well, it's a lot in traditional markets. So, yeah, this is an interesting spot here. Let's go to NQ. Again, do be wary of that resistance and the ultimate kind of resistance of the all-time previous high of about 2870, which coincides with all this hesitation at this moment. Let's see. Oh, real quick on this formation, because this is a really... I got pretty bearish early last week because I was watching this price action here, these candles. So you have a decent candle, then gave it up pretty hard, right, on the, what is that, sorry. Gave it up pretty hard on Thursday, Friday of the prior week, which is the 4th and the 5th. And then we come in for the 8th. We had a nice little sell-off. And you notice how these bodies keep getting lower with lower closes and lower tails, too, and clearly lower highs. And they're like ratcheting like stairs. This is usually a really bad sign. Especially when you have big tails like this, and you can't get any pressure, any buy pressure up here. You can kind of see like it'll get negated here. This is very orderly. This is very structured. All the bodies are the same. The tails are the same. The wicks are pretty much the same. This is a really orderly sell-off. This is too. Those are just liquidation breaks mostly. But when you start seeing this and kind of panicky stuff, and then the next one can't even get above on a closing basis the body close of the previous ones, yeah, that's a really bad sign. All right, and if we zoom in a little bit on the 4-hour, oh, yeah, we'll go on the 4-hour on this one. This was also obviously a clue for me, is price below 21 on the 4-hour, and staying, the 4-hour stayed above almost most of October. Since the 4th of October, it was in the power zone. The bears have been in that in the power zone pretty much most of this month, and they exerted some of it right here. Again, that's why DMI rules. If you don't use it, you should. Actually, you should just do whatever you want to, because the hell do I know? All right. So Nasdaq had a nice pump today. Wow, that's pretty good. So 618 retracements coming up right here, equaling the longer term moving average, which isn't a super surprise because these are very closely related to the fibs, as I've discussed before. Here you go, though, looking at 4-hour, we're actually getting a little bullish. I think it's because Netflix had a real good day. Facebook, I think, has had an okay last couple days. But you can see, big old dump. Right again to this trend line. It's bounced off of it like a bunch of damn times. I'm not convinced that this is the end, though. of this volatility in the traditional markets. We still do have about 3 weeks before elections. That gives us, that's right here where this is, if you can see, that gives us plenty of time to have some little fear again. And if everything is all well, right, and people think like the houses change or don't change and the Senate doesn't change, you know, maybe the Trump bump can resume. But you know, right now it's a little early to tell, and now being that we are coming up on these retracements, these 618 levels, right, right around here on Nasdaq as well, just about like the S&P, it is about 60 points away. That coincides here with the 55 and the 21 exponentials. So if a daily can't get above that, you cannot get re-bullish on this market. That is for sure. And if we go to the 4-hour, yeah, the bulls are barely getting in there. Again, guys, on the hourly for scalping, this is the DMI is pretty damn good, especially if you use it with the 21 exponential. So DMI gets in the power zone as you see the bears falling into the neutral zone and then into the weak zone. This is exactly what you want to see for a nice trade setup, which led for, you know, a good 120 or so point move. So that's bullish. Still kind of bearish on the higher time frames though, even on the 3 days. So got to be a little bit careful. Be a little cautious here. Obviously, I'm not doing long trades at the moment. That kind of got reverted after the price action early last week. Well, especially when we especially when we closed below the 21 exponential, and then ultimately last Friday getting below the 55, and not just by a little bit, by a very large margin. And if you go back, whenever that has happened before, it's usually followed with sell pressure. Right here, you had some buy, but then it immediately got sold off right there, and also right here. And before that, shit hasn't really crossed it, and all the way back into early last year. So yeah, this is definitely a change in behavior in the markets, and like I discuss all the time, you have to change. Don't let your emotions keep you in trades, because you're wrong. You will lose money. I'll say it again, you will lose money. And everybody's like, what? No way, man. No, you will. And it sucks. You just have to learn kind of how the best way to lose money. I know it sounds crazy if you're just starting out. If you traded for a while, that probably makes a little bit more sense. We are crossing, though, the 21 exponential below the 55. So I'm expecting this to roll back over possibly later this week. I don't really expect this to continue. But hell, again, my opinion doesn't mean shit. Price will tell me. But right now, I'll probably get short deltas on any pump that we get tomorrow, because I'll be able to set up a really low risk to reward option spread on the indices. All right, let's go to the Russell, because the Russell got absolutely mollywopped. Also, it had been showing weakness all the way back into the very, very beginning of September before anything sold off. It actually got bearish on the 4-hour back on September 6th. The Russell was the canary in the coal mine. I was talking to my friend about it, that 1650, if that broke, that was it. Then there's no support, and bears would gain control. Of course, no one thought it's going to sell off that fast, especially in just a day. But there was some signs that weakness was showing up in traditional equities. And if we go in here, I believe this was like a 10% sell-off. 12. Okay, so 12%, y'all, that's huge in markets, in traditional markets. That is gigantic. That's getting close to, what is it? I think a recession, it's either 15 or 20%, I believe, in like a 2-month period. Getting real damn close to that. The last time we saw a 12%, let's go ahead and check it out, was about right here in February. So 2018 is proving to continue to be a nice volatile year, which is good for traders. It's great. We did find support on the longest term moving average, bounced very nicely. Not a surprise at all. That's very textbook. Now we're just wondering if we're going to see something like this over here, right? I know a lot of people are calling for this kind of thing, a super V, just rip your face off. And if you notice, this was actually election last year. Or 2 years ago, I'm sorry, when Trump first got elected in November 2016. Big sell-off, everyone's got scared, and then it just ripped everyone's face. Will that happen again? Shit, who knows? But we won't have that much long to find out. And I do know that. November 6th is right around the corner, y'all. I wouldn't be surprised, though, to get a little pump, a little bit more of a pump, and then sell off again for the ultimate kind of like shakeout. And if you look at the Russell, man, 618, though, on the Russell is all the way back up here to 1660-ish. So that is a big move. That's still about 60 points from here on the rut. You could do pairs trading, I think, is probably a real good way to trade equities right now, too, if you don't know about options. That's where you, like, buy the Russell and sell the, you know, SP 500. You're just trading that relationship between the two. All right, let's go to oil. There's that big sell-off we were looking for. Found that resistance right there. This is the one thing I freaking love to trade oil. I know most of these guys just like to trade crypto just because they never traded before. I highly encourage you to go and trade other equities and tradables or assets, whatever you want to call them. So you don't get just bored and frustrated with one thing. Also, so you diversify and don't have all your eggs in one basket, right? But yeah, as you can see, we called pretty much this running up to the middle part of here, back around this area, and it was official once it broke $71. That bitch just ripped face all the way to the middle of the channel, stalled out. Not only was it the middle of the channel, but it was also coinciding with these other local highs. It made an ever so slightly higher high, so that's decent. Now let's see if we can just stay and not make a lower low here. That means we probably are in for some bigger moves on oil. And do know that with all the Iran and all this other crap that's happening geopolitically, you know, there's a big chance that something's just going to be announced out of nowhere if we like go to war or do something crazy, invade somewhere. You know, oil can start to move very quickly. But right now, price action is looking slightly bearish just because we are staying underneath the 21 exponential. But hey, guys, guess what? We've been used to that being sandwiched between the 21 and the 55 on Bitcoin. Hell, we were there for like at least like, I think it was like 32 years. No, of course, I'm joking. I don't know how well sarcasm comes through, like on the radio or on mics. I'm sure it's fairly decent, but anyway, we're getting some nice basing here, and again, it's right at the bottom of this trend channel. Forgot to mention that. Let's zoom back out. This trend channel goes all the way back to last year, into last year. It did a little fake out right here, came back in it, couldn't get out the second time, and also found support at the 144, which was a really good sign with the internals. As you can see here on the daily, the bears were creeping down as the bulls creeped up. It was a really beautiful setup, super easy. As y'all know, even when I was telling this, I had a strangle on, which is a neutral strategy, but it ended up getting negative delta, and so I took some heat on that for sure. It wasn't the best, but as I've discussed on oil many times, it trades two ways. It's a two-way trading instrument. It usually doesn't trend real hard. And, you know, look at this. Up, down. It does sine waves hardcore. Now, the one time that people are going to be like, yeah, right, dude. You obviously don't know shit because in 2014, it sold off hard. Yeah, sure did. Here's 2014 if you want to know. But also, you know, if someone that wants to hate and bring that up, I would point you in the direction that look how it never got above the 55 exponential and only above the 21 exponential all the way since July of 2014. It happened once, twice, and was immediately rejected on the next daily candle. Furthermore, if you look on our handy dandy DMI, the bull or the bears were in the power zone since July 28th, and they didn't come out of it until January about, what is that, 5-6 months later, okay? Again, everything you need to know is in the charts, y'all. It really is. It's providing all of the information. It's giving you the best price available in the world with all known information available to you. So everybody can read the same book. I use that analogy a lot. We're all watching the same movie. I'm sorry, is the one I usually use. Reading the same book, watching the same movie, same kind of thing. And so everybody has that, especially nowadays with the internet. It makes it a lot harder to even kind of have secrets like you used to be able to, you know, a decade ago even, or for sure trading in the, you know, prior to the 90s. Really prior to the early 2000s, because that's when ETFs really kind of got started and options volume was really getting big. But anyway, I digress. I would never do that, right? My friends would laugh right now, I'm sure, or if they're listening right now, they're like, haha. So 1 hour is getting a little bullish. 4 hours neutral. 850 is slightly bearish, and the daily is very neutral. How about on the 3-day, though? 3-day is neutral, too. So we're back in very neutral action for oil, which is great for strangles. And if you don't know what a strangle is, that means you just box in price. And just real quick, I'm not going to go into details about this, but you would sell what a put here, and then you'd sell like a call here, and as long as price stays in this range, mostly, it can even come out a little bit or do like this, you get paid. And you get paid as time goes by as well. So please learn how to trade options. They are badass. I will do more options videos here soon. I know I've said that for a couple of weeks. I just like talking about TA so much. I'm trying to really do like shorter videos, like, you know, 8 to 15 minute videos, and they'll be pre-recorded. Still do these, but they'll be pre-recorded, and they'll have, you know, certain topics attached to them, put spreads or you know, futures trading, or just kind of real basic stuff. I'm going to try to start from the bottom and work my way up on that one. All right, so let's go to gold. It's enough about Earl. So gold has had a nice little pop. If y'all listened to the show a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how GDX looked like it was making an inverted head and shoulders, albeit a very ugly one, but sometimes those are the best ones, the patterns that are there, but they're a little abstract, and you kind of have to stretch it a little bit. The super obvious ones usually don't play out very well. But, so we can see here, gold had a nice-ass pop on that market sell-off day on the 11th here. And it's now cleared its 55 daily exponential. That is a shift in behavior, most definitely. All right. Now, I will get back bearish if it closes below, you know, 1200 or so. But until then, now we're back. The times have changed. The sentiment has changed. Gold looks like it's trying to get some legs going here. And if we have some more sell-off, you know, this could easily come and tap up here at about 1260, which is a big move for gold. Off the indicators, we got bullish on the daily. We've been bullish on the 4 hour since this big candle right here. On the hourly, we're very neutral on the hourly. Kind of a weird DMI layout on the hourly. Yeah, I haven't really seen many like that. That's kind of awkward. So kind of neutral on the oscillators, but just off price action alone and the 55, that's a good sign. So if we're gonna hold this long gold position should be getting some love. And let me show you the GDX trade. Wow, there it is, hitting the target. We targeted about 20 bucks. That's beautiful, very nice. I have longer term plays on the golds. Yeah, and see how this is like really ugly, right? Super ugly. Like, you're like, what the hell is this? But you have to be, this is art, man. This is not science. Do remember that. I think people just try to get too damn specific with this shit. And if you take this little measurement, you're kind of up here around the low 20s, like 2021. And I was being a little bit more conservative in targeting this exponential, the 144 purple, which is at about there. yeah, this was definitely a good trade. And I think when I made that video about it being inverted, my extra confirmation is when my friend told me I was crazy to think getting long gold or metals in general would be a good idea. And I was like, oh, thanks. That's the extra confirmation I need. It was pretty funny. Especially the individual I'm talking about. He is a very astute trader. Not crypto trader. He's a futures trader and options trader. But let's see. So gold's looking pretty good, hitting this target. If you had any of that on, I managed my shorter term position. I do have a position that goes out into early next year, though, for metals. So if that comes in a little bit more, I probably will take it off, though. I thought we might have a little bit more downside action, but it doesn't look like we are. All right, let's go to the Bitcoin for final thoughts. Feels good to be back over here, guys, chatting on here. I definitely miss doing these streams. It's someday I'll kind of like get a little more technically savvy and have a little setup with me, or maybe do it like on my phone, or maybe at least like record, do like a pre-record and upload it or something. So I am just still trying to get in the swing of all this kind of stuff. So please do bear with me. And I very much appreciate y'all watching and all that good stuff. Again, my videos are all time-stamped and stuff, so you can go back and quickly view any of the topics that most interest you. Let's see here. So again, nothing too special that I can touch on, other than, you know, 4 hours above all these exponentials. We haven't been doing that pretty much since this big sell-off back here, the Goldman Sachs, Silk Road, blah, whatever the hell news you want to apply to it. I like to just, you know, it's more sellers than buyers. That's really all that matters. So now here we are, 618, guys. This is still freaking critical. And this was the video I made last week, early last week. Please go check that out when I talked about this in detail. Yeah, look at this. All the closes are below it. All right. So our newer kind of type range on Bitfinex is going to be kind of this yellow box this year. Call it like 66 to about 7K. If we don't close a daily over 7,000, this is a total BS rally. And you're probably like, oh yeah, of course, if it didn't close above a little bit higher, of course, yeah. Oh wow, look at this DOGE that just printed today. Wow, okay, so the daily just closed 20 minutes ago. So now we have indecision inside of already an extremely indecisive box. So not the best candle you want to see. This next one is definitely going to give us some more clues. Ultimately, closing back below the daily exponentials here is going to be a really bad sign. And then this pink line is the rough 618 retracement from here to these lows. If you don't know, if I'm kind of moving fast, let me just show you real quick. That is that 618 retracement right there. All right, let's see on the 4 hour. Again, we're bullish on the 4 hour. We're bullish on the daily. What is this? We are bullish on the hourly. Bullish on the 850. Oh, got a little internet slowness. Bullish on the 450 and about to get bullish on the 3-day. Oh, I didn't notice that one last time. So that's 16. When is that? Oh, is that? No, that just started today, so yeah, we still got a few days for that one. So don't get too excited. Even on Bitfinex's trend line here, you do have price closing smack on it. And do remember, it has been rejected off of it a bunch of times. So don't get antsy. I'm definitely not going to get aggressively long here. I know a lot of people were kind of like, oh, look, it broke out. It's good to go. Oh, man, please don't do that. Oh, man, but just do whatever the hell you want. I guess you can lose all your money. It's cool. It's a good learning experience. I've done that way too many damn times. The one thing that is nice, though, is this action is just kind of getting accepted right above it, although it only has been about a day. Let's see what happens in the next couple days and see if we can get some movement. I would love to get long leverage pretty hard if we can close that daily above 7,000. That would be beautiful. Ultimately, right above this 618, which we have not seen a daily close above it with some force ever. Not since it's been selling off. I mean, here, maybe you want to call that, but that's still even underneath the trend line, so that's not even good. We're in a little bit different situation here. We're past that part of the trend line where you thought it would kind of run up into here with this sign that it's doing, but it went a little slower, dump, and a pump. So this little dump right here could be a nice little springboard for some further action, so do keep that in mind. They made it. There's a lot of liquidity in this box, that's for sure. All right, guys, with that said, I'm ZRX, y'all. This is No Noise Research. If you enjoy any of this content, please do sub, bell, and smash. We're working on providing more stuff over time. Please keep in touch, or if you're subbed and hit the bell, you'll get notified whenever we go live and upload some videos. If there's anybody that wants to ask me a question about a ticker, I will hang on just for a couple of minutes and go from there. But yeah, again, Bitcoin is a little bit back in the range-bound action, so that's pretty damn funny. And again, to Coinbase, like we talked about earlier, and all the other exchanges, you do have, let me go ahead and put these horizontals on here because I'm going to be fanning through the different exchanges now a lot more. You know, don't forget all the major coins, or most of the major coins, did close right on their 21 exponential. So they're not getting too excited yet. They are getting close. I think the only one that looked really badass, what was it, EOS? That was bullish. No, it wasn't EOS. Fuck, what was, oh, maybe it was EOS, not EOS, whatever. Eaton Vance, I don't know what the hell that is. Yeah, so it wasn't EOS. I'm sorry, I forgot. It's been a little bit longer video than I planned for. But it's back in there. I'll timestamp it here in a little bit so you can come back and check that out. But again, yeah, we are in a very critical zone on the price action. I don't like the discrepancy in the exchanges. It gives me a weird, eerie feeling of, let me show you if you don't know. Let's go back to Bitstamp so we can go back in time. It gives me a little bit of an eerie feeling of, I'll get there, I promise, of this here, when we started getting huge discrepancies in price. And it was right before, too, when it sold off. What's weird, though, is that we're not in, like, the same position price-wise at all. Like, we're at the bottom of a range, so yeah, it's pretty fun. This is a good one. I still don't think, I'm not convinced, though, that we're in a 2014 kind of market. I know everybody thinks that, but I'm just not really, you know, it doesn't, the chart looks different. History repeats itself. It rhymes, it doesn't repeat itself, right? And we are in this long-term channel. This yellow line is like the ultimate super low. If we close below that ever, then yeah, Bitcoin will probably go to like $2,000 or lower. You know, Tone Vay's type numbers, he's been talking about that. 1,300 for a long time. You know, it's good to get some headlines too. Yeah, well, I don't see any requests in there, so no worries. That's awesome. Thanks again for listening, y'all. This is ZRX, No Noise, signing off, and I will talk to y'all mañana. And I'm not going out of town or anything for a while. I will be going to Vegas, I guess, in mid-November, but, you know, that's still a month away. I'm going to a finance conference out there. There'll be some crypto stuff related to it, but it isn't crypto-centric. So that'll be the next time I leave. Until then, these videos will be getting pumped out. Much love, happy trading, and thanks again for tuning in. Peace.